Hello everybody and welcome back to ESL Challenger League Europe Lower Round 2. I'm Rook, joined by John P as we're getting ready for the match between Sangal Esports and Paloma Need Org.
Well, Paloma need an org and they need to keep their ESL Challenger League dreams rather, should I say, alive here against Sangal Esports. If you missed the map VO, we are going to be kicking things off here on Mirage before we head over to the fiery ablaze that is Inferno. And we'll finish things off smooth and steadily over on Vertigo. But already out comes the side of Paloma, nice and aggressive. It is going to be Kubi, first line of defense though, pivotal stairs, but look at the aggression here though, we absolutely love it from the side of Paloma, and instantly that bomb goes down.
Yeah, Sangal had that B-site lean and they're getting punished for it hard here. It's going to be that first point of contact, wants to try and get these shots at range, but it's Corey who's the first one to fall, and look at the aggression. He wants to get it going, but turns behind, and Caseo and the rest of the gang absolutely ruin. But Sangal Esports though.
Yeah. Olymp and Casey starting things the way they hope to continue, and a little bit off the radar, you can say, there from Sangal, to be honest. You mentioned that they gave the heavy B lean early doors here. Of course, it is only the first pistol round, so forced to throw away a few more rounds, but basically throwing headshots out already here on the server as it is going to be the side of Paloma. We pick up the first round of this map number 1, but, well, as the saying goes, right, Rook, you give the team an inch, they'll take a yard or such, and, well, if you give Paloma a yard, they'll take a whole damn bomb site, apparently, and that was probably one of the swiftest and cleanest pistol rounds we'd have seen so far here in the Challenger League. But as that first round comes to an end, we are going to see the rifles go into the hands for the side of Paloma, a few AKs, a Galil, and even a Mac or so for ISO to work with. Just those USPs, of course, on the eco round for the side of Sangal. And that's a really nice start from Paloma. Confidence, and confidence is key, of course, coming into the likes of a lower bracket game, because you only get one shot, unfortunately, and without throwing any Eminem 8 Mile references out there anytime soon, Rook, you don't want to be missing any shots these times soon.
Certainly don't, but one shot seems to be all that some of these players need. You've seen the headshots come out earlier. Absolutely fantastic, and now with those AKs in hand, looking strong. Good control early. Paloma again, they rotate to the site that no one's on and plot that bomb instantly. Corey's off the board, and well, Casey's looking to let loose a couple more quarries if they darn well can. ISO, however, hand laner are the ones to get aggressive, and against these pistols, naturally going to pick up.
Yeah, and look, I don't want to get carried away. I don't want us to, you know, say, oh, okay, cool, Paloma won the first 2 rounds, they're going to take this game 60-0. That's definitely, well, I mean, it could be the case, but, you know, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. But one thing I've already noticed early doors here from the side of Paloma, and I don't know if you agree, Rook, is just how reactive they are to the Sangal placement on the map. In the pistol round, they got the early contact that no players were over towards A, and they immediately execute and collapse onto the bomb site and claim it for themselves. And the same applies here, but this time over on that B site, right? They make their way nice and comfortably through towards that. They clear the site, and straight away they get complete control over the site. They push out towards kitchen, out towards short, find the frags, and just like that, an easy second round for the side of Paloma. But here's where the tides could potentially turn. As Sangal, they're going to pick up the M4s into their hands. And this is the big question, Rook. This is where our friendship is going to be tested. Are you a normal M4 or are you an M4A1S kind of guy?
I'm a normal M4 guy.
Correct answer. Correct answer. That's the way we go. It's nice to see that our duo ship can carry on for a few more years or so.
Yeah, absolutely. Love the ability to put some of those more shots down range, and obviously a lot of power needed to counteract these AKs. As Paloma already showing off a lot of arms in this round. Obviously Mac 10 for ISO, sure, but everybody else holding those rifles, and they're looking to flex them. Love the smoke placements as well from Paloma in the early part of this game, understanding the flanks and the positions which they need to cut off properly so they can make these pushes properly. Looks like it's going to be a B-site hit here, likely with these setups. Soulfly getting ready for it. Veteran player knows what they need to do here.
Corey lying in wait. Soulfly, the dynamic duo, over towards that B site. Can they hold down the fort? No. Well, blink and you miss it. There's the answer to any question that you needed. It's going to be Casey swinging his way onto site to find the first. Doubles up on the second as well. And, well, Fizzy and Scrunk, they're going to scurry their way back over towards CT and that A site to try and hold on to those rifles going into what is going to be round number 4. But already, Paloma, so solid here on the T side of Mirage. And they've pretty much been completely uncontested, and it's always been effortless at times. And one thing that I think you mentioned, and I completely agree with, is those smoke placements, right? Towards the likes of Connector, they smoke out Connector, they smoke out window as well, and they just gain complete control over potentially shifting either down towards short or, getting their way into underpass or even shifting through those smokes into connector itself. So I really, really like the aggression towards middle of the map here, early doors from Paloma. It's constantly keeping Sangal sort of with their backs pinned against the wall, and they've yet to have any answers to those questions that Paloma seem to be throwing their way. And for Paloma, it's just one round after another, and things go from better to great, you could say, as they pick up the third round.
Yeah, really nice for them, shutting down the economy somewhat of Sangal Esports here. Not really going to be able to buy up. Do have those 2 rifles still available. Obviously, a save coming in from Fizzy and Skrunk, which sounds like a cartoon duo, but they're not looking to mess around here at all. Try and make good usage of those rifles, but placing them on the map might be a little bit difficult. It feels like Paloma making great reads and great kind of information plays to try and gather the knowledge of where Sangal are on the map, and then, well, hitting the site where they're not, hitting the site where they're weakest. And again, those flashes, those smokes have been a big part of that. So next we have to slam themselves into this corner before any shots come down range. But so far, that mid control a little bit more in favor of Sangal this time round, but obviously with only 2 rifles, it's a little harder to leverage that.
And I think that's why you've seen them go back over towards Zay as well, right? They know that they've got the range advantage over towards that longer site, but with Skrunk about, it's not too certain just yet, and it's going to be Casey. The first is going to be pulled that Skrunk through the smoke, and Skrunk, he's his way through here, doesn't get spotted though. It's going to be Lena and SNX who finds 3 of their own, 2 for SNX, 1 for Lena. Just like that, when you thought there was going to be an ounce of hope, the side of Paloma, they just shut down shot, but Fizzy is good for 1. But in the 3v1, although the pop flash does come high, and for him, he's surely got to save the M4 into the next round, right? And that's going to be the 4th on the board from Paloma. And I just like the it might sound cliche, but the use of their brain, right? I mean, they understand that they won the round number 3. So what does that mean? Okay, the 3 players that we've killed are only going to have the Eagles. We've got 2 M4s to deal with. Let's head over towards the A side, smoke where the rifles are most likely going to play off, and we'll back ourselves in those close range fights with the rifles against the likes of the Eagles to win it. And they completely shut down the A side. Yes, okay, it did get a little bit messy and dicey at times. They had to trade, but trade is what they did, and trade is what they do well. So, 4th on the board for the side of Paloma, and, well, now that economy is really starting to build for the T side. We do see Fizzy put the AWP into his hands for the first time here in this map number 1. But when you've got, 3 players on the side of Paloma, all over 6,000 already stored up in that bank account of theirs, this is looking very, very good here for the T side.
Was indeed. They're looking super confident, and they're looking super consistent as well. Really decisive on these plays. I mean, they're taking sites very early on here. If Sangal Esports give them so much as a single opportunity to try and take that one. You mentioned before, give them an inch and they'll take a yard. Well, Paloma have absolutely been taking miles. They've been taking those sites and really barely letting go of them. You've seen Sangal Esports lose out on a lot of those fights. And then from there, things just really start to cascade. AWP now available for Sangal Esports. So as you said, they can lock down some of those longer sight lines, which means the A site is a little easier to lock down. But you can see that kind of positioning towards the B site from Olymp here, and that could be a big deal breaker. Manages to find that first pick or lead into anything. But the util's about to be invested towards this A site to potentially force something towards here or set up for a plan.
I just love how well organized. Oh my lord! Fizzy, you've got an off, my friend. You can't be getting speed peak like that, and he doubles up as well as Skrunk's gonna fall. And oh my god, blinking, you miss it. 2 players from the side of Sangal completely deleted off the map. Making a 3rd as well. It's all up to Corey, left alone on that B side. He's surrounded by mollies, but he's gonna make it work. ISO is gonna fall. Can he find shifting towards him? He can't. Corey's gonna drop. 5th comes up for Paloma, and lordy lord, SNX, what an absolute demon! Wow. Basically solo pushing onto that A site, takes out the AWP player. That's insane to see. Sangal Esports just did not know what hit them. And I was saying before this match, I was like, okay, Sangal Esports look really confident here. And I think if they win this, Vertigo's theirs, so they basically win this series. But Paloma, they have come out swinging. They have denied Sangal a chance to really put their roots down here. And it feels like they're constantly scrambling for something. Got that AWP available again for Fizzy. Can they do something with it? Olymp just pushing on in through that molly. Who will get taken down? You can't push like that. Yeah, I think it's a little bit overconfidence there, probably coming out from one of the entries, but guess what? It's actually drawn the attention of 3 players from Sangal over towards that B site. Well, at least 2, and then you've got Kirby, who's pushed himself up towards the middle of the map. That's going to be Lena to find the first with the AWP. Fizzy does get flashed out. Fizzy isn't going to land the shot. It's Casey who picks it up, but oh, QB is going to spot one. He makes steps, though. Has he been hurt? I don't think he has. Has he been hurt? I think SNX might have just turned to find the info, but this is going to be a huge round here. They lose this. They're almost bankrupt, you could say, for the side of Sangal, but that bomb does go down. 4 versus 3. You got to say, with the weaponry advantage, Warp still up 3-8 in the hands of Paloma, and now just 2 players left alive for the side of Sangal to work with. And if you're Corey and Kubi, you got to save these rifles into the next. You got to keep hold of the FAMAS. You got to keep hold of the M4. Corey tries to peek. Orp's going to find the kill. All up to Kubi. He saves 6 from the board for Paloma.
Wow, absolutely brutal yet again. They push on in. I mean, Fizzy was in position but a little bit too close. Gets hit by that flash, gets forced out of position, and instantly just pounced upon. There's so much power in the hands of Paloma, and because the recon is absolutely bumping, they don't even have to worry about any of this. They're constantly investing smokes, constantly investing mollies towards a lot of positions, but they just have the money to keep it going. And I think you look towards Sangal Esports, and you mentioned before the problems they were having in terms of their economy. Like, right, they got that all, but did they have much to really back it up? No, not really. They used most of their utility in that initial engagement right at the start, you know, as you kind of have to in all the ways. And from there, it was just completely obliterated. The flash goes out, so they keep Lena off the angle, but the Orp does not manage to land onto anything. They're going to get aggressive here, but that nade could be big, could be good. It's forcing them out. Casey tries to get wide before the Lena to find that shot and hits 2. That's big.
Yeah, I think Lane is very lucky that I think the second player, which was Skrunk, didn't realize that he actually recycled the AK out of Kubi's hands as well. Only had the pistol to work with, but either way though, Lena, when he's called upon, he makes the shots happen. So, he's here, making a 3 versus 2, as it's going to be ISO drops Soulfly, but I'm not too sure they realized the second player, Corey, he's snuck under towards the bottom by Van, but ISO's there to sniff out the danger. And although Fizzy, very doable with the Deagle in hand, unfortunately for him, when you're receiving an AK bullet to the head, it only results in one thing, and that's a death and a 7th round for the side of Paloma. And Rook, I'm trying to think throughout this whole ESL Challenger League season 44, especially, I mean, just throughout Europe in general, have we seen a cleaner start to a game on Mirage this season other than what we're watching right now? Paloma, they look absolutely lights out and fantastic.
I highly doubt it for the exact reasons you're saying. They seem to be absolutely on their stuff, knowing what's going on in these situations, using the utility so effectively, and sometimes you're just hitting those shots clean. And Sangal Esports are getting beaten out in a lot of these because of the decisive plays as well. Paloma, you seem to be in the right place at the right time. Really good calls as well for their rotates, and it's been paying dividends. They've been able to control this map from start. Well, we'll see if it goes all the way to finish, but certainly until now.
And again, you know, they both meeting with a bit of mid-pressure. What has that done? That's forced the extra player that was playing over towards B away from the B site to double up in towards window and short, and that's given a free bomb site over towards the side of Paloma. But I say a free bomb site, it looks like finally Sangal, they seem to fight fire with fire, and it looks like they're the ones that have landed the knockout blow thus far. But 3 versus 2, still a lot of time in this round. Lena, though, already scoped in with that AWP, trying to find a kill onto Corey towards the back of the site. You give a sniff, a hairline fracture of an angle, and an Orp will hit it, and guess what? Fizzy, he could be blind as well. He still lands those. And all of a sudden, it's up to Lena in the 1 versus 3. The scope in off the AWP. Give the to... Oh my god, Lena! Just look at the wrist. He actually ends up legging Fizzy as well. Drops into 17 HP. But Fizzy's there to find the frag. First round finally on the board for the side of Sangal. And I think we are going to see a timeout come through from one of these squads finally. It wouldn't surprise me if it was Sangal. But even then, though, Paloma... They tried to rush that one a little bit. They did get punished, and it's nice to see finally Sangal. They seem to have got a little bit of momentum. That train seems to have finally left the station, you could say.
Yeah, I mean, if they did finally manage to get some coal in the engine, get it going, but I mean, they're going to need a lot more to chug along, right? That round was basically kept alive by the fact that Fizzy was just absolutely locking down that B side. I don't think you can rely on that to happen every single round to try and bring this back to a good scoreline for themselves. Right now, I think they're going to need to really redouble their efforts, put people in some of these better positions to kind of lock down the ways Paloma are pushing on in, because the smokes they're playing around on B just don't seem to be working. Every time it seems to be someone swinging out, they get sprayed down, and it looks disastrous. Paloma, though, I mean, that was a round. That was a slip-up. Things went wrong. They got caught off guard. The AWP really shut them down. And even then, Lena nearly brought that back. You saw that guy go absolutely mental. You said he legged Fizzy at the end. Imagine if he didn't hit legs there. Imagine how that goes. Because then, Sangal do not pick up this round. Everything goes to absolute rubbish again. And you can see that that economy is looking horrendous for Sangal Esports if they didn't have anything coming through.
Well, I mean, I think he actually leg wallbanged him as well. So even if the wallbang was taken out of the equation, or if he hit a chest shot, for example, I think he probably would have landed the kill, and it would have been left in a 1 versus 1. But yeah, okay, cool. Look, Sangal did win that round number 8, but look at the economy for the side of the CTs. If you looked at the economy across the board, you'd probably think Paloma were the ones that won the round, right? We've got Scrunk with just a Kevlar and an M4. We've got what, 3 flashes across the board to work with, only 3 smokes as well. Fizzy going in, you know, not full glass cannon with the AWP, but only got the Kevlar to work with, and a few nades as well. It's only Corey that's going to pick up the full Kevlar and helmet here probably in this round. Soulfly most likely going to be forced down to the likes of the MP or maybe a FAMAS as well. So the grass ain't always greener on the other side for Sangal. And, you know, on the flip side, you look at the likes of Paloma. We've got full util, full Kevlar, full nades to work with. You've got all the rifles in the hands. The AWP back in the arms of Lena as well. And, you know, starting on the T side here for Paloma, they've just looked so good and so strong. It's really on Sangal to try and follow up here with a second round, because if they don't, this could quite easily turn into a landslide of a first half here on Mirage.
Util invested in these early exchanges, making sure that mid control is in the hands of Paloma, but they still make it happen. QB was not expecting to get caught off guard there, and that first frag goes the way of Paloma again. They take the control, and now they can start to play a slightly slower game. They've shown us decisive. Let's see slow and measured.
Yeah, Paloma 1 step ahead. They understand that, okay, we have been shown a lot of presence towards mid. Maybe someone's going to get a little bit aggro towards under, and, well, guess what? Could be does, and unfortunately, it's the AK of Olim waiting for him. It looks like it is going to be the A site, though, for the side of Paloma. Ooh.
Huge nade is going to lead to a lot here. Scrunk can get into position, and you saw that now Fizzy was in position. Scrunk, they don't know if he's back here. This could be absolutely huge. So they force back a little bit. Gonna get, no, doesn't get cleaned up. Scrunk just about can't see them in that smoke, but his playing here is lovely. Big opportunity. Doesn't even get one ISO. Flicks harder than anything. And what looked like an opportunity here for Sangal doesn't lead to too much. They at least deny the plant. They buy themselves some time. Roy's in position, gets 1, gets 2, leads it to just 1. But Lena has done some heroics before, but it's not enough this time. And they do pick up the round, but again, Sangal, things look dicey.
I mean, again, yeah, they've just scraped through over the side, right? And I mean, the only positive out of the fact the economy can start to be built now from Sangal, other than winning that round, is that the AWP was saved through for Fizzy, right? That's going to be a lot of economy that now allows him to potentially drop over onto one of his players. I think he actually ended up dropping Corey, if I'm correct. You know, even still though, Sangal, they've got to try and hold on to these rounds a lot more easily than they are doing so. Casey finds the first, could be there to double up and find 2 of his own. Finally, we're starting to see Sangal come alive, but Olin is going to find Kubi right back. So in the 3 versus 3, making a 3 versus 2, making a 3 versus 1, 3 versus none. Lena doubles up with the AWP. Sit down, Fizzy, because your op's not as good as mine, apparently, here on Mirage. And just when you think the side of Sangal, that is heartbreaking, Rook. They claw their way back into it, right? They get the first round on the board finally after losing 7 straight. They double up to go 2 for 2 to get the second on the round. We're slowly starting to see potentially that economy being built. And guess what? Paloma, they slam that door on Mirage, shut in their face. And they're now down, forced onto the eco.
Yeah, Paloma was a really solid play there to pick that one up. And again, go for aggressive, go decisive. This has worked out for them now, and it's going to work out likely again as they clear 2 players off. And this has gone even worse than the previous round. No way. Sangal picking this one, not even picking up a frag likely here as Soulfly stuck in a very difficult position here. And yet again, Paloma showing us that when they commit, oh boy, do they commit.
I almost feel like putting a support ticket in against Paloma and reporting them for just pure disrespect to CSGO gameplay, because they're almost playing this like a pug, to be totally honest with you. Yes, okay, I understand that they know it's the eco round, so there's only going to be maybe a deagle or 2, but they just fly out onto these sites so quickly. They throw the default smokes, they smoke off CT, the jungle smoke comes, the jungle smoke don't even come in, they just smoke off the stairs, they leave jungle open for players to swing and just try and get aggro in towards. They collapse onto the site, and now it's took Sangal, they're going to try and double AWP set up here on CT to just try and shut down and slow down this side of Paloma.
Yeah, and I don't even blame them for it. They've got to shut down these line of sights, and it seems like Paloma are just running on in. You could snapshot them, you could deal with them properly. It's going to be so big. Soulfly does not manage to find a thing and is pushed off the... Oh no, actually, sorry. I didn't see that. Caught them through the smoke there. That was big.
It's one player though, player number 4 on your screen, getting a little bit aggressive over towards T-Spawn. You can't lose those! You cannot lose those, Sangal, Skrunk, Kui. What are you doing? I mean, I think it was Skrunk who lost the gunfight. The player was trying to go for the lineup and use the crosshair, of course, and the places on the map to line up. It looks like it was going to be smoke over towards A site. But the whiff from Skrunk costs him his life. Soulfly. He's going to take a little bit of damage. So that's one AWP flushed out of Snipers now, and that allows a little bit more of an opening, and Corey, well, he slams the opening straight back in the face as it's going to be Casey who falls, but SNX bomb in hand, and if he can isolate this player over towards short here, he gets the bomb down free of charge. The timing, it looks like SNX might get the read. He's spotted one. Now the issue is he needs to isolate the kill as quickly as possible. Corey doesn't allow him to do so. He finds the frag. And unfortunately for SNX, he's going to drop. Third goes up for Sangal, and look, if Sangal can put the likes of 5 or 6 rounds on the board here, that's not a bad half. Comparison, you know, you were 7-0 down, and Mirage is one of those maps where, you know, even if you're the likes of 12-3, 11-4 down at the half, we've seen some crazy comebacks, you know, on Mirage before. So it's a map that these players know like the back of their hand. So I don't think Sangal will be too worried. But for Paloma, this is just going to pump in to that confidence that we said that we think they probably, you know, could warrant to have, because they were the side coming into this that was on a little bit better form in comparison to Sangal. And, you know, I think that confidence and that good run of form is reflected in the gameplay.
Yeah, I think it absolutely is. And I mean, good run is especially that. They were running and gunning, and they were finding their shots. They were calling the placements, and honestly very ready for a lot of the strats which Sangal have had here. Obviously well read on that one as well with the smokes. But again, to try and take control of that mid. But look who drops down. Soulfly does not want to let this one drop at all, and really wants to aggressively contest this, but won't be able to fight with anyone here at least, because Lena is not going to be peeking to this angle. Flank. This could be so bad. Look at the players coming from down below.
Oh, it's so smart though from Paloma. Soulfly draws first frag. QB's there to double the luck. Finally, the side of Sangal, they've cottoned onto the read of the aggression through towards mid. SNX just lying in wait in towards T-Spawn. No doubt he's going to probably try and recover that AWP at the top if he can, but problem for him, he's going to walk into Soulfly, who already has found 2 in this round, and it's better though, right, from Sangal. This is what we wanted to see from them.
Yeah, it absolutely is, and I love the aggression as well from players like Soulfly, who honestly wasn't having the best game up until now, gets aggressive with the ult, and just absolutely puts the nail in the coffin there in that round. I mean, absolutely huge plays towards mid. Complete confidence in QB to deliver there. And that again shows this squad, right? Sangal Esports, they've been as a team, at least in part, at least a core, for quite a while now. And it shows that with the fact that they've got such confidence in each other that when things are going well for themselves, I mean, they just look so well drilled.
And for the first time since round number 1, we see Paloma pick up 5 pistols, Rook. So things seem to be going from bad to worse here from PALOMA. They lose a couple on the trot, they answer it back with their own, but now finally down onto what is really a throwaway round. They're just going to try and charge their way out through Axe. Flashes come through. Soulfly finds the triple now, looking for the fourth and the fifth. There's the fourth. Are we looking for a little eco ace to Soulfly? Actually, we are, but we're not going to get it. Tech9 removes the skull, but Fizzy's there to trade back. The second orc probably most likely through as well. No, they don't actually grab it, but one thing I want to highlight is that you've got to say it was actually if I'm correct, it was the pause that we took when it was 8-2, if I'm correct. Where after that pause, we saw the second AWP come out from Sangal. It was almost like they said to themselves, Rook, okay, what are PALOMA doing really, really well right now? They're hitting the site aggressively and fast, and they're not giving us time to react. What can we do? Let's put a second one-bullet machine in one of our players' hands and let Soulfly pop off, and boy, oh boy, have they done that.
Yeah, they've been absolutely brilliant in getting those opening frags, and denying that away from PALOMA means they can't get the momentum. They can't get that pace that they want to play with, and that's exactly what you need to do. Util goes in very hard here onto this B site again, and PALOMA, they want to claim that space, but don't commit too hard to it, because this is a very spread out push for them. They're baiting around, they got their frag on the A site, and that's where the bomb is, so I could see them absolutely going for this, and with Casey as one of those tips of the spear, this could be a huge opener with Casey and Lena to really break into the site. QB tries to put some shots down, expects to play towards mid, rotates to B here for their team, gets one, needs the other, but unfortunately isn't ready for that. Too many players swamp, but it's a trade 2 for 2 in the end. Yeah,
and I think that they can actually get the call that B site's clear. There is one player, Soulfly, over towards B site, although there, he's gonna fall. Soulfly finds the frag, so they know in the 1v1, that bomb instantly gonna go down, planting for CT as well. AWP in the hand of Casey. Oh, they're gonna get the read, they do, but Soulfly is too good with it. And we're gonna see a 9-6 half at the moment. We're gonna go to a short break, but when we're back, we'll have the second half here on Mirage.
The bar raising, we keep moving it up. Ain't no surprises here, they knew it was us. Apologies if I was doing too much, but I always came through in the clutch. I got faith restored, why you pushing the brakes? I ain't full of myself, boy, I'm full of mistakes. I came from humble and roots, I'm here to stand and deliver. Had no one gassing me up, except the man in the mirror. I used to work on my handles, and now it's handles of liquor. I write these songs in a dark room, the candle will flicker. I stay practicing heavy for when the game's on the line. It's like over and over, I run the plays in my mind. I'm a psycho, I'm taking my time. Rushing perfection is a dangerous crime. You gotta give it and take it. That's what you do till you make it. I had to roll with the punches and take the hits from the flagrants. I'm saying the bar raising, we keep moving it up. And no surprises here, they knew it was us. Apologies if I was doing too much, but I always came through in the clutch. An off game don't mean I'm losing my touch. And no excuses, I ain't using a crutch. Apologies if I was doing too much, but I always came through in the clutch. I was falling, had me stalling. I was way down, now I'm balling. I done came up, and I called it. I done came in the clutch with the game on the line, I know. I operate from a higher place. Wait, some decisions don't try a race. I'm doing what I can to fuel the flame like a fireplace. To make a bunch of money, buy my mama a fireplace. We make incredible songs to celebrate and get mad lit. Once upon a time in Hollywood, I'm like Brad Pitt. My homies say I live a life, yeah, just a tad bit. Learning how to move in this rap shit. I told them that the bar raising, we keep moving it up. And no surprises here, they knew it was us. Apologies apologies if I was doing too much, but I always came through in the clutch. An off game don't mean I'm losing my touch. And no excuses, I ain't using a crutch. Apologies if I was doing too much, but I always came through in the clutch.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the ESL Challenger League Europe Lower Round 2. I'm Rico, joined by John P as we get back into this second half, and it was looking oh so good for Paloma as they dominated the start of the previous half. But Sangal, they made a resurgence and they showed that they could certainly deliver here on their map pick. But SNX getting up close and personal early on here, just taken down by Skrunk.
Yeah, and you know what, I want to highlight the point that I made earlier on. It was the switch to the second AWP, right? We saw the solo AWP out of Fizz really not working for Sangal. The side of Paloma, they were just smoking him off. They were executing onto the site, and when SNX wasn't just ego speed peeking him and ripping his head off with an M4, he was finding it really, really hard. But when Zoldfly pulled out that second AWP, they just kind of committed one to each site and just allowed that expressive nature to open on Sangal a little bit better. And, well, they got 6 rounds, you know, off the back of it. So it must have worked, so props to whoever made the call. But thus far, we are down to a 4 versus 2, as it is going to be Skrunk and Kirby finding the first picks here. ISO can't be whipping those, my friend. Does find one, but not before Lena can reply. So in the 2 versus 1, for the side of Sangal, this is a round that they can't really afford to throw away. Fizzy there, though, finding head taps. Is going to find the kill. Lena falls 7th on the board for Sangal, and that is the start to the T side that Sangal wanted.
Is indeed. PD50 working well for Fizzy, and Sangal, yeah, getting that eco going already. Not quite as aggressive a buy as we saw from Paloma in the previous half. I think when they went to round 2, they bought AKs on like 3 players straight away, which is aggressive, but hell if it didn't work. I mean, they went to town. They destroyed Sangal in those opening moments. This time, Sangal looking to do the same, except on a budget.
Well, I think Sangal will just be happy to see that they've got some rifles in their hands before the 6th round this time in this half. So, nevertheless, they have got the Galils and the max to work with. You know, these guns on the first buy round, always going to do some damage against the likes of the USP. But don't count out those pistols, especially in players as talented as the likes of Paloma are. ISO, though, going to be first line of defense here. Out towards connector. Kirby is going to find the first, second falls as well. So SNX and Casey here. Drop and Soulflight not taking any chances, trying to clear as many corners as possible. The flash comes through. It's going to be Fizzy and Skrunk who fall out. Lena's there, misses the first shot. Well, he's missing lifelines as now as Fizzy's going to find the frag. 8th on the board. And Sangal, well, although it is going to be the first rifle and full buy round across the board for the side of Paloma come up, they're just 1 round away from tying things up at 9 apiece here. Yeah,
they look damn comfortable after what was a pretty horrendous start. They've looked to get back into their stride, show us what they're made of, and win some pretty solid rounds as well, especially on the defense there. They showed us how that double ult works and how they've been playing around it in general and playing around the smokes, which Paloma have been dropping. Good smokes early, but they got red at some point. SNX gets aggressed onto it. It's gone in a heartbeat, but look at ISO here, holding well, but not well enough.
Unfortunately close, but no cigar, you could say, as it is going to be Skrunk gets onto the side. That, though, Skrunk's toes just sticking out from around the corner, and, well, guess what? Corey's going to clip him off for you as he finds the second as well. But for Casey and Lena, they know this is a big invested round in here. That's the AWP. Full M4s across the board as well, and for Kirby. He's able to actually recover one of those M4s into his hands, and Corey, he's actually snuck in towards jungle. But I'm not too sure if they're aware that Lena lying in wait over towards connector. Corey, the timing, but Lena holds steady with the shot. And Corey's gonna fall. Now a tough spot for Kirby as he's stuck between two players. Lena opens up his affair here on the CT side of things for Paloma with 2 frags with the AWP. And that's going to be a big sigh of relief from Paloma there, because Sangal, they made that a lot harder than it should have been.
They really did. They really did. I think Paloma felt like they had control up until the point where that execute really came on, and Sangal got a good couple of frags, set themselves up well. It amounted to a 2-2 situation in the end, but it was looking a little bit dicey. It was some really good performance from Lena, like we saw in the first half, that really sets the pace, sets the score for this team.
Paloma rekindle the form that we saw them off the back of winning their first round on T side, and well, Lena, he's going to open up the affairs here. It's going to be Fizzy who falls through the smoke. And well, I mean, I think the scoreboard speaks volumes that when Casey and Lena start to pop off the side of Paloma do, but I don't want to discredit the work that the 3 other players have done. We've seen SNX open the frag in many a times, Olimso as well. You know, what part of that core stability and that foundation that this somewhat solid squad of Paloma have built themselves off of. But for Soulflight, that smoke just going to clear him to get in towards connector. But I think the side of Sangal, they're almost second-guessing themselves a little bit too much here. I think they're giving the side of Paloma probably a little bit too much respect and comfort on this CT side. And that's something that Paloma didn't do to Sangal, right? And I think that's why they were so explosive, and we saw such a one-sided, you know, first half of the first half as such for the first 8 rounds, that Paloma just sort of had a bit of an ego and a bit of a swagger in their step, right? And I think Sangal have got to try and take a page out of their book, because it quite did actually work for Paloma, and for Sangal, with 25 seconds left, they've got no idea where they want to go. It does look like they finally want to go towards this A site, but they're just taking so long here to get out onto the site. 20 seconds left, Rook, and they're not even out of pit yet.
No, they're not, and they're right in the waiting arms of all of these shots coming through. Corey is playing well, frankly, considering their HP, but it's just not happening. They tried too hard to push through that, and as you said, too late. They didn't get that mid-control effectively. Paloma shut it down well. Good usage of those smokes, and actually just good positioning of their players meant that Sangal Esports were basically pushing in just from pit, and I mean, it can work, but you need the smokes in the right place, and they just weren't there.
Well, it's not even that. It's just like 20 seconds and you're still in pit. 1 molly and the round's over, right? Like, you're not going to get out to pit in time, and if you do, you're going to be down to at least like 20 on HP. So, again, I think Sangal, they're just respecting the side of Paloma a little bit too much. I think they could have, you know, after they found a little bit of an opening, they just explode onto the site. And for Paloma, they're not going to complain, right? They've got the likes of Lena, who's playing extremely well with the AWP in hands. This slower pace style of game where he can just get scoped in is going to suit him. But Soulfly removes the skull as ISO is there to trade it, but not before Scrunk can find the refrag. So, numbers advantage here in favor of the T side. Bomb in hand. 4 Deagles to work with as well. Oh, Skrunk's got the animation out. I want Scrunk cam. 1 Deags only. You know the rules. I don't make them. But Casey, well, it seems like he wants to be a lawbreaker here on Mirage. He's going to find the first. SNX is there to clear one up as well towards connector. So that's going to be Kubi and Fizzy, unfortunately, who fall. And although it is going to be the side of Sangal, the duo, that is Scrunk and Corey out towards Palace. Corey finds the first. Casey, though, has spotted 1 cross. Now, these 2 players, they know exactly where this player lies with them, right? 2 versus 2. If they double swing and find 1, this could get interesting. They do, but unfortunately for them, Olymp's there to find the 2 refrags, finds the trades. Those 2 players were really beaten up off the back of the AK as well out of Casey. 12 goes on the board once this bomb defuse comes through. Has got the kit to work with, more than enough time regardless, even without the kit. And the 12 goes up for the side of Paloma, and they're slowly starting to recapture that form that we saw in the first half.
Dude, they are really impressive play to kind of be that patient from Casey, I think. buying a lot of time, a lot of space for their team in exactly the kind of situation they needed it. Gave Olymp the space to kind of go for that flank and really clean up in that situation. Sure, they fell in the end, but they did what their team needed to, and being on 12 rounds already, they're really looking to kind of close this one out as quickly as they can. Only 4 rounds between them and victory here.
Well, there's a smaller gap between them and victory seems to be of 4 rounds. Also, 4 rounds in a game of CS is a very, very long time. So I think there might be a few twists and turns in the road just yet. But PALOMA, though, they just look so good so far. Not the best to buy across the board, though. They have got ISO just down to the M4, completely dry of util, has got just the Kevlar to work with, and in terms of smokes and flashes, just 4 smokes, 3 flashes across the board. ISO could be solid here, finds the first, it's going to be SLX to find the second. Corey, although he trades, he's beaten up real bad, but he finds the second as well. Lena has to try and hold down shot on his own. Realizes that site's probably lost, so he's just going to back up, and it wouldn't surprise me if we see PALOMA just back off into a bit of a save here. They are going to try and re-aggress and see if Olymp is going to find. When he does, it's Corey who falls. So now in the 2 versus 3, the avenues for success and road for a potential retake just seems a little bit more doable. Easy though. Is going to find one, gets taken out from Casey. Kubi left alive, has got the molly to work with. The spray through the smoke is just not going to land. The flash comes through, the defuse is stuck, the AWP is saved, and the hearts of Sangal Esports might slowly start to be breaking.
Oh, that was unfortunate. Got the spray down on the other player as well, but it just about didn't lead there. PALOMA are looking so comfortable on this map here. We kind of looked at these 2 maps and said, you know, the first 2 maps, and we were looking at it, Mirage and Fun, as you guys can see in your top right. Pretty standard. Both these teams are very solid on it, but I did think that Sangal were going to be able to take this one, and right now, they're really on the back foot, so they're going to have to step up here. And, I mean, with rifles here, they're not going to have another buy in at least the next round. They've got not a lot of space left, and this round really has to deliver.
I think what Sangal haven't got the answer to is the fact that PALOMA's refragging and trading is just so good on the CT side so far. Every single time someone drops, it's almost like a refrag instantly happens. Someone picks up 1 or doubles their lucks and finds 2 for the price of 1. But for Sangal, it seems like, you know, they're almost not entering dry, because they are entering through the flashes and smokes most of the time, but they're never doubling up and double swinging, and they can never find the trades when necessary. Like here, you know, ISO finds the first onto Corey and Soulfly. You can't be shift peeking in round into connector when you know lane is probably over towards jungle, or you've at least found the info that one's over towards window. SLX finds the kill onto QB. The info comes through. Fizzy's over towards short. He's going to fall. And guess what, Scrunk? You're a lonely man, potentially walking into your death. Or are you? Double up! Making a triple for Scrunk! Trying to find the ace now. 2 versus 1. Not too sure. That's probably the molly that he wanted to be working with. But the problem is, though, he has got hold of that bomb. But I think he's allowed a little bit too much time to rotate. Not a lot of time to work with. 30 seconds. He needs to try and get this bomb down before it's going to be Olymp who swings round the corner, but he cleans up the shop. And, you know, like there, though, no players were in a position to trade for Sangal. It leaves Scrunk into a 1 versus 5, right? He finds 3, but when the confidence is up, right, he needs to step on the gas a little bit more, continue the aggression and make the play. What he does is he's like, okay, cool, I've just done the hard work by putting it down into a 2 versus 1. He must have known the info that those 2 players were the B players, right? So he just needs to get that bomb down a little bit quicker and try and isolate the 1 versus 1. He daddied a little bit too much, and okay, yeah, cool, all right. He finds and tags a few shots up onto that first player in the 2v1, but Olymp's there to find a swing and trade from CT anyway. So PALOMA now, what is look like, and they could be going into the penultimate round here in map number 1. Sorry, of course, after this, if you missed the map vetoes, Mirage was picked by formerly known as Permitted, now, of course, under the alias PALOMA. After this, we'll be heading to Inferno, which is the pick of Sangal, and should we need it, we'll end things on Vertigo in our 3rd and final map. But I don't want to be a bad omen, but we kind of said that Sangal needed to come into this Mirage and try and win it, because, you know, I really don't know how this map number 2 is going to go now. Inferno, it is a strong pick of Sangal's. It's a reason why they insta-picked it as their first go-to pick to play map number 2. But, you know, Paloma, I'm just thinking about how well they've been set up, especially on this CT side. It's looked so composed and so coordinated. The side of Sangal, they're going to have a tough time operating Inferno.
Indeed, SNX is going to try and jump out here, finds one, almost finds the second. Back up, it'll easily be a couple of frags for ISO here. And completely denying that push again. Sangal desperately wanted to try and make that happen, but the util, they got some good flashes in, they put some mollies down, but players weren't playing in those angles. They were ready for the flashes, they were ready for that push, and that decisiveness that we've been praising from both sides just hasn't been quite as effective here. Blunted a little bit, and Paloma look like they're going to close out this round, put themselves on match point, and say, Sangal, all right, your move.
Well, it's going to be 15th that comes up before the side of Paloma here, unless Corey pulls off a quite ridiculous what would be 1v4, and he doesn't even get a chance at that, as Casey, he spots the shoulders, and well, he rips the head, or the bicep, should I say, really, off of that final Sangal player. But here we go. It's not quite series point, but it is map point, to say the least, for Mirage anyway, and it looks like Sangal, they're going to have to try and claw their way back into this on Inferno. It's their pick for a reason, but look, we've seen crazier things happen. Fizzy now with the AWP in hand. I think it really comes down to whether or not he can find the opening pick, but the flashes come through, and look at the aggression out towards mid from Lena. I love that from Paloma. That is superb reading from Paloma, that they said, okay, we know Sangal like to send 2 towards mid. They're going to most likely try and get aggro. Let's throw the flashes over the top and swing out and find the frag. But guess what? Corey in front. They're going to answer back with a few of their own. And all of a sudden, it's a 2 versus 2. Make it a 2 versus 1. Olip left alive. Can't find the snap on, though. As QB is going to find the shots onto SNX. Olip holding a real tight angle. It's going to be Kubi. Spots. Oh, I don't think he spotted him. I think that was the outline that we could see through. Oh, Olymp, the movement's crazy. Good swing. He's going to find Scrunk, but he misses the shots. He finds the head. And Sangal, they say, okay, John, calm down a little bit there, son. We're going to stick around for at least another round.
But that economy, I mean, it's not looking the best for the side of Paloma. I mean, they've got access to the sword. They've got access to the rifles. But look at that utility. You can see right at the top, poor utility. Low, obviously, now, but they don't have a lot to work with, and that could be a real problem for them. Sangal have been making great usage of those smokes, great usage of those mollies too. So if Paloma can't be there to kind of counter util all that, could be a real problem, but instead they get aggressive. Sangal are happily oblige to take ISO off the board, and with that player advantage, that util is going to become even more present.
Yeah, ISO would be kicking himself that he's lost that gunfight, to be honest with you. I think he was a favourite to go in and win it, but the shots were just a little bit more steady in the round there from Scrunk. It does drop him down to 7 HP as well, though, so here's one player not quite eliminated and off the server for this round, but might as well be at 7 HP. I like the aggression, though, here from Sangal over towards the B site, but Olymp and Casey, they've got a great setup. One up towards Boosted, the other towards Double Archway of Short. I think you have got the third player over towards Short as well, so they're ready for this here. They're set up. These players from the side of Sangal, they're not even going to clear any tight corners. It's going to be Olymp and SNX to open the frag. And are they going to expect Casey on Boost? I don't think they are. They've got the contact that 2 players are towards Short. SNX, it's so smart. Casey's patient. And we're going to be going to Inferno with the side of Paloma. 1 up.
Yeah, really solid performance, honestly, from the side of Paloma. I didn't think they were necessarily going to be able to pick up the round, but they make such a good call to stack on that B site. Even though the util goes in towards they do not care. They push in towards it, and Sangal just get completely minced as they try and come on in. Really great play on as well on that offense, and I think that really set the pace for what they were trying to do on this map.
And I like the